Well, hello there, chums. As I, Captain Stephen EXO, and I'm sorry, chums. I seem to be stuck in speculation mode. I think it's because of Sean Murray's and Hello Games messages saying that they've got a lot in store in 2020 and they've got an upcoming update and something big in the works. I mean, yeah, it's blown my fragile little mind. I can't stop thinking about what these things might be. So yeah, I've put together a little video that I want EXO to put on this screen for you guys, just to show you some of the things that are swimming about in my head, my top 5 wants and wish list. So execute a mondo, EXO, go for it, my little chap. Okay, so here is my wish list of 2020. The top 5 things that I hope an update in 2020 will bring at some stage in 2020. That's not necessarily the up-and-coming one. So yeah, number 1 on that list is super biomes, variety at every atom level. 2 is ship customization and shipyards. 3, NPC pirates on planets and bounties. Number 4, multiplayer raids and challenges with rewards. And number 5, endgame and system loop improvement. Now I'm going to go into detail for each and every single one of these chums. So yeah, let's click on through. So next up, the super biomes. So these are images of each of the different super biomes that were teased some time ago. I mean, some of these have got some fantastic creatures in. I mean, look at that one with the curly whirly tails. Awesome, fantastic. So yeah, some of this stuff just isn't actually in game now. It's like a lot of these structures that you're seeing on the planet's surfaces here just aren't actually in current iteration. I think they're fantastic. I mean, that looks like some sort of fantastic sort of PlayStation-y type device on that one, doesn't it, in the middle shot there with the green background. Okay, so let's just skip on to the next. So here we are, here's some more to do with proc gen, and again, on planet surfaces like Solar Prime, you saw all these sort of, I don't know, industrial units that made the planet almost look functional, like little mini industries. I mean, imagine if you built some bases near that. That'd look fantastic in the background of a base. So yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And planets that actually have structures on. I mean, they made the assets. Where are all these assets? Where have they gone? Okay, so there's that. And yeah, again, all these different structures. Some of these, one of these, I believe that one, is a trading post, and so is this. Some sort of weird trading post where you can fly in and actually land your ships inside these things. And a lot of these haven't made it into current iteration. I mean, yes, we've got boundary failures that look something like that, but nothing as big or grandiose as that. And again, all these things seem to have been made at some stage, because you can see early live footage with some of these buildings in. And I would like to see them return, or at least be pulled out of the game files. And I don't know, yeah, they need to come back, because they look proper sci-fi-esque. I mean, some of these you can even say, well, that looks Viking, whereas another may look very Gek-like, you know, like the giant mushroom. Or even this one, Gek-like, where others look more sort of Korvax, like this, you know? So they almost have a sort of look about them. It almost mirrors the smaller buildings. And I feel that they need to return, because they look freaking epic. Okay, so here we are. So this little GIF in the center here, as you can see, it says every bird, fish, rock, ocean, cloud, ruin, star, sun, galaxy, planet, atom. You know, until it is at atom level, I'm not going to be overly impressed with what we have currently. Because at the moment, everything is, I don't know, placed by noise. Even procedurally placed, it wouldn't even be a fair statement. It just currently isn't a procedurally generated game or universe. It's things placed by maths and by not even proc gen, but just by noise simulations. And it's the same noise simulation that seems to affect every planet. You can kind of see planets patterns from planet to planet and the way things are grouped and bunched together. So you know that you're not going to come across a massive dense forest followed by a giant plateau of nothingness. It just doesn't happen like that. You get little patches here, there and everywhere, so the load can actually log in differently, you know, the LOD, the level of detail draw. It seems to all be spec towards that, and I don't know whether that's down to limitations of the current consoles that we're on, or whether it's more than that. Who knows? But currently, this is on every single trailer that they've put out there, and I still don't think it's an actual statement that should be there, because it's not true. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I would like to see every atom level, just like they expressed in the GDC videos that I've put out there a couple of times now, chums. If you haven't seen them, GDC 2015 and 2017, they talked all about this stuff, and yeah, it seems to be removed from the current iterations, and I have no idea why. Okay, so next is number 2, which is ship customization. So ships seem to be the only thing in the game that is procedural. I mean, the ships have got quite a lot of differences to them, whereas everything else you can see patterns. I mean, yes, you can see patterns in some of the ships' setups. I mean, in the background of here, you see these sort of grey washed out images. I mean, that fighter is freaking awesome. Look, it's like a Y-wing, and we haven't got that in current iteration. It'd be nice to get a ship like that. So what I'm thinking is, yeah, there's 2 parts of me that are about ship customization. One part, I really like hunting down the ships. And then the other side, I'm like, yeah, I really want ship customization. But I think to bridge that, what they ought to do is make it so every single time you come across a ship, you scan the ship and it adds it to like a blueprint database. And then when you go to a shipyard, which you can own on a planet's surface or something, maybe a new building type, or even just a new desk in one of your bases and a new NPC, you can go there and you can come across all your ships that you've scanned on your travels and take parts and build a ship out of all the different parts that you've scanned, and maybe assemble something like this out of using parts from an exotic and parts from a fighter to create like a hybrid type ship and class. So yeah, I would like to see us able to make some of the sort of ships that you can see here in some of these doodles that they've done before actual pre-release. I mean, to make something like this, that'd be quite cool. I mean, a lot of these parts actually exist, but just not in this configuration. I mean, I've seen these things on the sides of like all sorts of ships, like shuttles and things. And yeah, maybe you could make something that's very reminiscent of that little sort of like ship over there, or something that looks more like this pod racer type fighter. So yeah, it would be nice to build up a ship catalogue where you can actually build ships that look a little bit more interesting, a little bit more weird like these, and then perhaps even put them in your shipyard for other players to come and buy or share, but they have to locate your base. It could add a new dimension to the game if they get ship customization right, so you still have to go around different areas of space, scanning ships. It could be a secondary area to the game. And I know I would love this myself. I really enjoyed scrapping ships that I had found on planet surfaces that had crashed. But this is a whole new dimension. If they actually did this idea, I think that would hold player numbers just on the ship area alone. Okay, so let's skip on. Okay, so NPC baddies. Okay, the game doesn't have many baddies. We have like sentinels, but they're almost like good guys of the universe in a roundabout way. They're protecting the planets from us, the travelers. We need an enemy. It's like, I don't know, the pirates on planets. You pick up a freaking bounty, you fly out the station, it highlights the baddie just in the distance with a little star on him and says, yeah, there's your baddie, go kill your baddie, and he's always in the ship. And it's easy as heck. Heck, even finding lost people in lost people missions is harder than taking out a bounty. It shouldn't be like that. You should be able to pick up a bounty and then go and hunt the person, almost like a missing person. But when you locate them, they could be on the ship's surface, they could be in their ship in space, or they could be in an exocraft or on foot, and they try and shoot you with their multi-tool or whatever they're in. That'd be awesome. A little bit of a PvE against some of the NPCs. As long as they can get, like, you know, the AI right, I think that could add an extra dimension to the game as well. It'd be freaking awesome doing missions if they were a little bit more difficult and a little bit more random in the outcome. I mean, having that happen, it's got multiple outcomes. It's not going to be the same mission twice. Not really. If you're running maybe 5 in a row, you're going to have subtle differences in each. It would make them a heck of a lot more interesting, wouldn't it? Okay. So next up, number 4, multiplayer raids. I would like to see them have puzzles and bosses that actually spawn a chest. So here you've got like a monolith. Well, imagine it's got 3 knowledge stones like they have, and then they've got the center plate. Well, it'd be nice if, say, each player has to take up one of the monoliths and then another person hits the center plate. That might spawn a boss like a giant freaking flying thing or a sandworm or something that can kill you in pretty much 2 hits, but there's 4 of you. So you can take this thing on. And imagine if one of you gets killed and your grave spawns, maybe another player can resurrect you from your grave. A little bit like we see on things like Destiny and things. So yeah, it can bring you straight back into the iteration. It could have a countdown of like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, and then you have to respawn yourself. A little bit like Destiny. And yeah, and then the chests could give you modules that you just don't get in any stations or anywhere else, and those modules could be like having 3 S-class modules in one, so it saves slot space. So they're awesome to get and make them completely random in how they're generated and the numbers that they give, a little bit like the S-classes we currently have. But yeah, just completely random spawns. So people are going to be running these missions time and time again to try and get the best S-class modules to save themselves some slots. That'd be freaking awesome. Okay, so next, the last one is number 5, the universe loop. So at the moment, we've got 256 universes that are very marginally different. They've just got a couple of stats slightly tweaked. I don't feel that we can scale that right down. Take it down to, say, 16 universes, but make them very different to one another. So I've got 3 examples here, but I have made information on each of these slides, which I'm going to put up after this one. And all you can do is just hit pause on each of them to read a little bit more. But for example, the bird type glyph. So say if you go to a portal and you put in 16 of the bird glyph, that registers that you want to go to the bird dimension, and then it would ask you to put in another 16 glyph codes to go somewhere in that dimension. So yeah, the bird one, for example, this dimension has predatory fauna that can land and attack you from both, so from air and from the ground. Also, more extreme weather planets. Storms stop you from taking off unless you're actually in a hauler or a heavy ship or have a pulse engines that are over a certain strength. Now, there could be a bonus in this system or something. So if you do complete this actual mission or dimension, perhaps you get, I don't know, some sort of awesome ship that can weather storms and go pretty much anywhere, has a further warp drive, a new type of exotic or something. The Diplo one, for example, this dimension has a greater chance for larger fauna. The planets that had ancient bones now have megafauna that can kill you in one hit. A little bit like those creatures I said about in, say, like the raids. But they're pretty much on every planet that used to have ancient bones. Killing these megafauna, though, will result in rare materials that you can be refined into quicksilver. So you just stick them in your personal refiner or whatever refiner, and you get quicksilver as an outcome. So it's a good dimension to go to if you're a bit low on quicksilver. But you're going to have pretty much everything upgraded to stand a chance of taking on one of these megafaunas, because you're just going to get ripped a new one, basically. Dragonfly, for example, I'm thinking more like Firefly. You know the TV show Firefly, which is a little bit more Wild West? Well, this dimension is kind of like that. So, yeah, it's got new structures on certain types of biomes, so perhaps desert planets and things, with bars and stop-off points that have rare bounties, smuggling and fauna hunting, salvaging missions that give rare module rewards, modules that can't be found in any other dimension, super exotic modules that have the same stats as 2 or 3 S-class modules combined. So a little bit like the raid idea that I had, but it's more of a solo sort of thing, and a thing that you can do by running different missions to try and get those modules. So if you don't want to do multiplayer, that's the dimension for you, and you can still get the sort of same outcome. So yeah, that's pretty much my idea on having 16 different dimensions. The last one, this one, you can't actually go there by, well, you don't actually. Well, you get glyphs, so say after you completed this one, you'd get that glyph. Now if you complete this one, you get that glyph. So you'd have to do away with the travellers and giving glyphs. And it's a case of completing each dimension to get a new glyph. And once you get to this end dimension, it actually contains randomness from each of these. So you jump to one system, it could be that, the Diplo system. You jump to another system, and it could be the rocket dimension, etc., etc. So the end one is just a complete randomization of every single other universe. So I'm hoping all players, rather than staying in Euclid and not going anywhere other than Euclid, will want to get to the last dimension where everything is completely random and it's like a hyperverse. It'll be freaking epic. That's my idea. So yeah, that's how I would like to see all of this in No Man's Sky at some stage. And yeah, upcoming, I'm going to go through each of these, but it's just going to be quite quick, so you're going to have to pause each one. I'm going to play some music by Nerve on those tracks. Okay, guys. Okay there, chums, I'm going to be putting up slides for about 10 seconds on each. You can pause them, I'm not going to read them out, but in 10 seconds you can sort of skim read them and get a rough idea of what I'm alluding to. But anyway, I'm going to play some of Nerve's music and just be a bit quiet. Enjoy the tune!
Push me to
we have it. That's my top 5 wish list, and a little bit extra there with a nerves track playing. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, if you've got any ideas or if you would like to see anything else, please add it to the comments below. That'd be fantastic. I love reading your comments. Some of them, it's awesome, fantastic. Yeah, anyway, I will see you guys out there amongst the stars, hopefully in this universe, or I'll just see you next time for one of my lovely videos. I'll see you then. Take care for now. Goodbye.
And yes, I have a Patreon. There's a tier there for pretty much everyone, including ship models. And here are the 10 Patreons that are getting ship models. Well done, Patreons! And here are all my other supporters via Patreon. Thank you very much, chums. Much appreciated. And yes, you can also get merch. You can pick up a fine and dandy mug or some socks. Hop on over to Teespring. And yeah, you can support me in many other ways by hitting a like, subscribe, or just not skipping my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or hit one of these links on the screen. Thanking you! The fire burns.